last part of that, the moment we added, actually we pushed over the data from the applicants table to the participants table, we should take that ID off the list. Otherwise we're just adding it a second time and we're getting confused. So that's what we do right here. Initialize y to 0 as long as y is smaller than the list box count itself. Let's do it. Actually count -1 here. And look at the selected one and delete that specific selected one. Then of course the moment we are taking one off, that means we're deleting one of those lines, we're having one less. So we should decrement y by 1. Otherwise y must be incremented to move on to the next. Then some standard procedures here again, visible, invisible, and so on. Coming to the bookmark button, bookmark click. So that means we have selected one of these specific ID numbers on that field, and we're coming to that bookmark button here, and we want to bookmark that person for a lucky draw. Now there is a special data type, as you know most probably, which is called tBookmark. So that lucky draw is then defined as being a tBookmark. Let's just remember we add 320 here. So holding down the Control key, coming down to lucky draw, we can just click it and we are referred back to the definition, and right here we are. Lucky draw is of type tBookmark. Control Z, moving back again. There we go. So we're getting that bookmark with that beautiful function here, get bookmark. We're having it in place and pushing it over into lucky draw. So that variable here, globally defined variable, keeps the precise table, pointer position, and so on of that record. If that wasn't wished to be done, we just revert back here and we tell the person to select another one. Right, coming to the times. And now of course we're talking that little button here, allocate times. That should be an interesting one, since we need to make up these times inside a specific range, and that range depends on the age group provided for the person based on the ID number. Now let's go to the documentation. We decided it should be fair roundabout to do the following. For example, for 6 to 7 year old kids, they could tackle that 5 kilometer in 35 to 40 minutes. The 8 to 9 year kids, they should be able to do it in 30 to 40 minutes, and so on. Most probably those kids being 15 to 16 years, they are the fast ones. They should get anything here like 20 to 40, 45 minutes. And the older we're growing again, you still get these fit guys, eh? They do it in 20, but others are moving towards the 60 minutes per 5 kilometers. So based on that table, which of course should be programmed, we have to supply some brilliant good coding. So let's try and do so. Button time click. So first of all, we're going to participants table. We're moving up to the first record to really run down each one of those and allocating a decent time for each one of those participants. So first of all, we need to get like the year again, and that's what we're having here. Having that year in place with a nice beautiful case statement, we can see, okay, that person is like born in 2006 up to 2007, specifying that range, and that is a youngster at 6 to 7 years, and that person then could be running any minutes between 35 up to 39 minutes or then 40 minutes. So there is our random function. Now these days a little bit of a change. You can spell it out with a capital letter R for random, and that gives you unique new numbers, where that one didn't work in the past, but for XE2 and onwards it works fine. And then having that random 0 up to 4 plus then a 35 ends up giving us that random number here. Now you can run through all of these. I hope they're all in line with the table just showed. And if it happens and we selected the invalid year, it should come up then with that type of error message. Alright, having all this in place, we can just translate it to a string. Same thing here. Random with the cap letter would be a better option these days. So for the seconds part, we should then get anything from 0 up to 59, 60 excluded. In case we're getting a one-digit number, we should just add a 0 in front. That's happening right here. And having all this in place, we can just edit that specific record. We can allocate that specific time we just made up with like minutes in front, seconds at the back, and then post that record and moving to the next, editing the next, and actually allocating the time. So here's a beautiful, nice example then of editing a specific record, changing some data, and writing it back. Last part here is updating progress bar again right on top. And as we're actually leaving that specific tab sheet, some small parts should be attended before coming actually here. And these one or two ideas are just mentioned here. The list on the left hand side, the list box should be made invisible, and then the button add should also become invisible. Maybe you could recall that from the past. Okay, that brings us then to the next tab sheet. Right here, and interesting enough, at this point of time we can't see the top, but let's see in a moment.